Miyashiro. I'm from Kaneohe, Hawaii.
We have the USA Volleyball Cup coming up. #1 Brazil versus #2 USA. Pretty big showdown. What's it like? What do you think of Brazil when you hear of volleyball?
Yeah, Brazil has always been, at least while I've been on the national team, has been a really good team. And they're fundamentally sound. They play in a good system. They have tradition, on their side, and they're always competing really well against us. So yeah, those are some of the things I think about them, and they've been successful, and it's really fun playing them and competing against some of the best players in the world.
And you're from Hawaii. 2 of the matches will be played in your home state. What's the fans like out in Hawaii?
Yeah, when I was growing up, there was a lot of support just in the volleyball community, and I think the Hawaiians love volleyball. I think we play the sport with a lot of passion, and we enjoy watching it with a lot of passion too. And I think they understand the game, which is nice to be around, and I think they can appreciate the game itself, and they have that respect the game deserves, I think. And yeah, I think they like watching volleyball in general.
Okay. If you could tell any fan out on the street, what would you tell them to convince them to come watch USA versus Brazil?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind is just the history, and we've played them a lot, and they've gotten us a couple of times, and I've been on the team, and we've gotten them a bunch. But it's 2 of the best teams in the world, I think, and we've been pretty close to the top for a long time, and it's a bunch of really good volleyball players playing a game at a really high level, and I think this is a pretty unique experience for the sport itself in our country, and I think it's like one of the best places to play in Southern California and Hawaii.
You mentioned Southern California here. What's it like training here in Anaheim, the host city for both the U.S. men and women's national teams?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think the city supports us, and we've kind of felt that support from the city, as a couple of us have gone to events hosted by the city, and it's nice to get it's nice to be acknowledged in a city like this where there's actually a lot of other things going on. And I think for those of us that have been on the team for a couple of years, we feel that, and it's nice to be in an area where they support it. It just makes it easier for us to do our job, and with their support, it allows us to focus on what we need to do to become the best volleyball players that we can be. And we have a nice facility that we're allowed to have all 30 of our players having many touches, and and then we can recover, and we have a good weight room, and we have a good training room, and it's a good home, I think, for us right now.
You mentioned going out to some of the events in Southern California. The team's been giving back quite a bit to Southern California in this area. Mm-hmm. One of the Starlings, what's it like giving back to the Starlings and coaching, turning around from playing to coaching?
For sure, yeah. I think the Starlings, for a lot of us, is we get more out of it than we'd ever thought we would. And at the beginning, last year, we first started going out and coaching, and it was fun because a lot of girls showed up, and the girls, they want somewhere to play the sport, and I think all of us started somewhere kind of similar position to them, where we just loved playing volleyball, and there was a point in time where we needed to learn and be taught how to play the game at least a decent level at that age. But it feels good to be able to help them. A lot of the players that come maybe can't afford real club volleyball in the area, and so it's nice to be able to kind of give back in that way, and share kind of our knowledge that we've learned and kind of worked hard for, and to be able to share it with the girls that are pretty eager to play the sport.
And you have a lot of competition in the gym right now. You mentioned 30 players. Mm-hmm. What's it like knowing that you're one of maybe 4 or 5 liberos trying to find playing time? Mm-hmm. Is that helping you?
Yeah, I think it's awesome that we have such a deep team, and we are able to send, a slightly different team to some tournaments, which is really great because, a couple of reasons. Teams don't get used to our one team, and it's hard to scout us. And then you have the ability to develop players that are maybe young and even older players, if you will call them. It's nice to get reps in tournaments and back here. And you know, when the team travels, we get to cheer them on and kind of see what they can do. And then back here, we're working hard to try to help improve the team overall. And I think in general, maybe we have one of the most, I guess, the biggest group maybe on the national team, and it's kind of nice to have kind of a surplus, if you'd call it, of players that can play at a good level.
What do you see as one of volleyball's biggest assets and how it can help grow the sport of volleyball?
I think a couple of things. I really like the team aspect of the sport. I think sports in general bring out a lot in people, and I think sports can test you in ways that maybe doing other things can. And just speaking from experience, you learn lessons playing on a team and playing sports and being active. You learn things doing that, and kind of relates to life, and especially here when you've kind of moved up to maybe a higher level and things are a little bit tighter, I guess, and the margin's a little slimmer, and you know, people are stronger, people are better, people are smarter, and it kind of forces you to kind of look back and reevaluate like where you are and what you want out of the sport and your career or just yourself as a person. But I think that kind of translates to life, and you know, hopefully we can provide a good role model to younger players, just what you can do with volleyball, and also hopefully translate into some part of their life and being able to work hard and work towards something bigger, you know, than just yourself. So I don't know, I think there's a lot of things that volleyball kind of brings, and you know, hopefully what we're doing as a national team is kind of hitting all the little players and young players just playing the sport.
And that personal growth, that could also be something where, in your role as a player, now you can learn that aspect for life after volleyball. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you see that can help you right now, or is that just something down the road?
I think both. I think volleyball and just being able to grow as a person and as a player, for sure it's going to help us while we're training, and you learn a lot of things while you're here because you're around a lot of good people. And I think the experiences that we go through are going to help us as people, and you learn how to relate to others, and you learn how to work together in a pretty specific way, but I think it kind of magnifies when you get out into the real world. But for sure, things that we learn in this gym can apply to our life right now, and then, yeah, hopefully later in life, we can kind of look back to experiences we've had and grow from them and learn and kind of share with those younger players just everything about volleyball and moving on. And
yeah, and you've had a way to get around the world and see so many different cultures. That whole aspect, a lot of people don't necessarily understand either.
Right. Yeah, volleyball, at least with the national team, has given me some really awesome experiences and opportunities. And yes, I've been able to travel to so many foreign countries and kind of go through these life experiences that maybe we wouldn't have in America. And I think a lot of us have grown as people going through them and kind of having to live by ourselves or on our own in a foreign country, and where everything that's, you know, should be comfortable is everything but comfortable, and learning how to adjust and kind of adapt to that culture that wherever we're playing at kind of uses, and being able to perform at a high level when you're uncomfortable is kind of one of the biggest things I think a lot of us have learned.